One of the grade ones on Saturday afternoon at Saratoga that leads into the Whitney is the Test, an annual event early in August at Saratoga, brings together 3-year-old fillies at 7 furlongs on the dirt. Nick Tammaro here to take a look at the Test, joined by Darin Zoccali. Darin, not exactly a premier rendition of the Test, but still a recent grade one winner, looking now to make it 5 straight wins in Madureira.
Yeah, that's actually what I noticed when I first opened up the past performances too, is that when you take a look at the speed figures, they're just not what you think of when you think Test stakes. And I think that kind of jumped off the pages me as well. Madureira certainly comes into this in fine form. Obviously, she got the win in the Acorn, where the race was scratched down to basically just her and pretty much as close to a walkover as you could get. But that being said, now she doesn't exactly face the strongest field, but she might get a little bit more pace pressure in here. And that's one of the things I'm going to try to hang my hat on.
It does, and you allude to that. I think the key thing in terms of the scenario here and analyzing it pre-race is that it looks like there's an abundance of speed. It's a field of 7, and I think it's pretty safe to say that at least 3 of them are committed to going to the front. I think Madureira probably made out the worst at the post draw from that respect, but I also think that based on the way she won the 8 bells, I think Flavien Prat is probably going to let them go a little bit and then try and get a position. I thought when push came to shove, she was just better than these horses and would likely assert herself as the best in the field. You went with a bit of a long shot, but obviously this pick is geared towards the expected pace scenario.
Yeah, I took Sterling Silver just because I was going to hope in this particular spot that McCarthy was going to try to get a better spot than Madureira. Now, Madureira has a little bit more natural speed, obviously, than Sterling Silver, and is a little bit more tractable, so maybe be able to go where she wants to go. But if they go really hot up front, Hot Peppers and Elm Drive, if they really mix things up early, I think it could potentially bring Sterling Silver into the race. I like her at the 7 furlong distance. I think when you take a look at her speed figures compared to the rest of the field, maybe with the exception of Madureira, she's really not that far off of these, and she's going to be a huge number. Is she more likely to run a good second or a good third? Of course she is. But at 15-1 or 18-1, I think she has nearly as good a chance as any once you get past the favorite. So I'm going to go price shopping here and hope that that pace scenario does materialize.
Nothing wrong with a cold exacta 1/2 either. Let's look at Hot Peppers, who comes in off of 2 straight stakes wins, including a graded stake tally last time out in the Victory Ride. I just can't help but get over it. Looks like this one's going to be a pace casualty.
That's how I looked at it as well. I know she finished in front of Sterling Silver last time, and she did survive a speed duel that day, but this is going to be a little bit different in terms of the caliber of competition that's going to be up against her. If Madureira comes to call and goes past her, what's she going to do? Is she really going to hang on for second after having to really fight up front and now the additional ground going to 7 furlongs? I think her effort here would more resemble a race like the one at Tampa, where she kind of threw in the towel once she was beat. Then she would kind of hang on for second. At a short price, she's one that I would try to beat here.
A filly who turned heads with an impressive debut down at Gulfstream in early April was brought back in an allowance race on Oaks Day. That's Wish You Well, who's now landing in this grade 1 spot. You almost have to wonder if the connections are willing to take a chance, understanding that outside of Madureira, you can more or less throw a blanket over this field.
That has to be what they were thinking. I mean, they entered her, and I think they got what they hoped in terms of what the field looks like behind the favorite. I have no idea if she's good enough to win this race. Now, her debut was certainly fantastic, but she did do that in wire-to-wire fashion. When she faced adversity and the slop at Churchill, obviously things did not go her way. Can she win a race from off the pace? Is she a need the lead type? Can she make the lead here? Those are legitimate questions that I think you have to raise when you take a look at her in this spot.
And of course, the biggest question of all is anybody good enough to beat Madureira? I don't think it's going to happen. You're going to take a small shot with Sterling Silver. We'll see if maybe it just ends up being a cold 1-2 if your gal can't get there.
Yeah, that'd be fine. We'll do the back wheel. And if she somehow finds a way to get the job done, we'll make sure we have a wide range of coverage in the other races in the multi-race exotics.
Sounds like a plan. That's a look at the Longines Test, which goes as race 9 on Saturday afternoon at Saratoga, post time of 5:07 Eastern time. For Darin Zoccali, Nick Tammaro here. Until next time, best of luck.